Thank you for fine tuning your free will and intuition with me, and for clicking on this video to check in with your daily astrology updates. Starting with Sunday, the 16th of August, 2026, we did have the moon making a conjunction with Venus in Libra right around 9 degrees early in the morning, about 3:30 in the morning Central Standard Time. So throughout the day on Sunday, we were working with the Libra moon, and the moon conjunct Venus can really give a softness and an extra boost of love throughout our daily interactions. We might be just inserting a little dash of beauty in our words. We might be beautifying our processes. For example, I detangled my hair, just little things. Maybe you just did your nails at home, or maybe you just went into the garden and picked a couple of flowers and gave it to your friend. Moon conjunct Venus in Libra is very much the balm that is needed for our relationships. So Sunday and moving into Monday, now on Monday, the 17th of August, 2026, we do have very, very early in the morning, right around 5 in the morning Central Standard Time, we have Mars making a square to Neptune. Our physicality, our vitality could be dampened, especially since Mars is already sort of swimming around in the Cancerian zodiacal waters. And then with Neptune here taking his trident and sort of stirring up the waters, Neptune ruling over waters, Neptune ruling over Pisces, and there's somewhat of that water fire reception going on, and I just see Neptune making a whirlpool and Mars is going around in circles. So Mars may have a little bit of a lack of direction. Our physicality, like I said, we might be a little bit more low energy. We might get up to go do something or go into a room and forget why we went in there. Our assertiveness, our drive, our passion, and our forward action, uh, we could be driving through the fog right now. So be sure to put the fog lights on your personal self, and not the brights, not the hazards, the fog lights. You know what I'm trying to say. After this, very early in the morning again, right around 6:30 in the morning Central Standard Time, the moon will be going void of course. So we will have a void of course Libra moon for most of the day. A good day to just sort of catch up on communications with your loved ones, to um, just do something kind. Let someone go ahead of you in the grocery store line. Libra has to do with taking the me out of the equation and highlighting the we in our lives. What's better for us? What's better for the both of us? How could we play a better game of pickleball or tennis or ping pong with each other? How can we go back and forth and have this conversation, this ongoing conversation, the beauty and the harmonization of the balance of two voices together, coming together in harmony? Um, let's see. Oh, yeah. Also, in the morning, there's going to be a Mercury Saturn trine. That should be helpful because that will add at least a little bit of structure to our thoughts and to our communications. Even if our physicality with the Mars Neptune square, that could be thwarting our physicality. Also, my buddy Robin in our astrology group tag, she sent a text letting us all know that there are coronal mass ejections, I think, or something going on with the solar weather as well. So, some people who are sensitive to that, along with the Mars Neptune square, this could just be a day to be sure to practice really good self care. Take that Mercury Saturn trine and use that to make a structure, to make a meal plan. You know what I'm saying? To get your week started off on a good foot, at least mentally, so that your physical self can follow suit. Later on in the morning, right around 11:15, let's just say 11:11 just to be cute. Let's say around 11:11 in the morning, Venus will be making a sextile to Jupiter. So Venus in Libra making a sextile to Jupiter in Leo. I really like this aspect for also keeping our hopes up. Hope wins. La Esperanza Vence. Venus sextile Jupiter reminds us in the generosity of spirit that we have in our friendships and our partnerships, and that Jupiter will protect us insofar as we are able to shine as our unique selves, even within our relationships. Okay, so the moon enters into the zodiac sign of Scorpio right around 4:46 p.m. Central Standard Time on Moon Day, and then on Tuesday, the 18th of August 2026, we have the moon in Scorpio all day long. Uh, Definitely with the moon in Scorpio, we might be feeling a little bit more emo, a little bit more moody, a little bit less tolerant of surface level conversations or people that are trying to BS us just a little bit to have some fun. Sometimes Leo energy can be very performative, and with the moon in Scorpio, we might be wanting to really be investigative and get to the bottom of things, and not just rely on that outer veneer, that outer shine to give us the information that we need about ourselves and about others and about life. The moon will be squaring Jupiter later on this afternoon, right around 1:43 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, with the moon squaring Jupiter, our emotions and our ability to generate the good feeling, the ability to express our generosity, the ability to express our true heart, it might just be a little bit off. Okay, with the moon squaring Jupiter, it's not a bad square. Jupiter squares are just a little bit excessive. So we might be overly moody, we might be overly emo with that moon in Scorpio. Um, you know, we might be having that tension between the Leo side of ourselves, which is like the popular jock, the cheerleader, you know, the person who doesn't mind being in the limelight, and then the scorpionic energy of, wanting to be like Wednesday or Daria and sort of be that gothy person that everybody knows and loves as well. Like maybe they truly are the popular person, but there could be some tension in our own archetypal selves between like our goth, our deep, our more emotional persona, and then the mask, the Leo, the sun that blinds other people's light to see the true depths of our emotional capacity. Moving on to Mercury Day, the 19th of August 2026. Speaking of Mercury, very early in the morning, right around 3:06 in the morning Central Standard Time, the moon is going to be making a square to Mercury. So in the middle of the night or in our early morning dreams, let's pay attention between if there's any sort of clashes between the information that we get in our dreams and how we really feel. Are there messages coming through that we aren't actually able to express in words? That would just be a really good description of the moon square Mercury, is when you're trying to describe your dream to someone, or when you're trying to describe like turning your dream into, a real narrative that other people can understand in our 3D reality. With the moon square Mercury, that could just really express that difficulty there between what I see and what I feel in and of myself and what I can express to you, my friend. uh the moon is going to be in Scorpio for today, and today we are going to be having our first quarter square since the new moon in Leo solar eclipse that we had last week. So the first quarter square, um, the first quarter moon, moon square sun, is definitely putting the pressure on. We're starting to feel, as Rick Astrology would describe it. He would describe it as the first crisis of consciousness, like the first push where we realize that we're starting to plant some seeds, or that some seeds had gotten planted, whether we planted them or not. Seeds have been planted since that new moon in Leo at 20 degrees and 2 minutes of Leo last week. And we're starting to notice the sprouts coming up from beneath the surface. We're starting to uncover some of the motivations behind what we're pushing forward in our lives. There's going to be a Mars Uranus aspect today, and some other minor aspects, but I think that today we can focus on that first quarter moon, that moon sun square, and how we might feel pressure and tension to reach our goals. But again, with Mars Uranus in a semi sextile, with Mars just coming off of that square to Neptune, our ability to physically act and our ability to mentally act might be just, there could be a shuffle step involved. There could be a little bit of a moon dance involved. We might be moon dancing, moonwalking, like sliding backwards a little bit, when we wish to push forward. With Black Moon Lilith making the trine to the sun, and Chiron retrograde in Taurus making that ongoing trine with the South Node, as insofar as we can shuffle back or back into a room and clean out the corners before moving forward again. I think that physically, mentally, metaphorically, and spiritually, that could be good measure for today, our Mercury day. So the moon is void, of course, from 9:47 p.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday evening, and then starting right around 3:30 in the morning Central Standard Time on Thursday, Jupiter Day, the 20th of August 2026, 3:30 in the morning, the moon will enter the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, giving us some much needed optimism, a little bit more buoyancy, a little bit more spring in our step. So as we're dreaming and as we're kind of waking up and doing that like 3:33 in the morning wake up, as a lot of us tend to do, we might be waking up with a little bit more of an optimistic feeling from our dreams, dreams of hanging out with friends, dreams of having fun, dreams of maybe even being athletic, okay, in the early morning hours. Um, right around 9, 10, 11 in the morning, Central Standard Time, we will have the moon making a sextile to Pluto, which is also very helpful in terms of our own emotional empowerment and our ability to communicate that power with others, not to mention share it. Um, on the 20th of August, we're going to have a couple more moon aspects. The moon's going to trine with Neptune and oppose Uranus. So obviously, as the moon moves through the zodiac, it's going to keep hitting these outer planets. Why don't we make note and fine tune our free will and intuition? Mars was having that Neptune aspect earlier in the week. Now that the moon is hitting Neptune, is our emotional state of being a little bit cloudy now. If we have a moon in a trine aspect with Neptune, I always think that Jupiter squares are okay by me. Neptune trines give me pause. You know what I'm saying? Neptune to me is the planet of delusion and disillusionment. And although Neptune can take us to the highest of the heights, it can also make us addicted to dopamine, addicted to that process of like catching the next high. So let's be aware of our emotional stability and our emotional lability on a day like today. Okay, so on Venus Day, the 21st of August 2026, we do have the moon making a trine to Jupiter very, very early in the morning, like 2 in the morning, sort of overnight. So once again, Jupiter rules over the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. And remember when we had the Sagittarius moon aspects the night before, now with the moon trining Jupiter, we might have a continuation of the dream that we had last night, or again, that sort of more optimistic, ebullient. If we cannot necessarily express our optimism, express our generosity, and express our magnanimous selves in our day to day life, we might be expressing this during dream time with these sort of Sagittarian, Jupiterian vibes that are happening overnight and into the early morning for us this week. Today on Venus Day, right around 7:43 in the morning Central Standard Time, right around 8 in the morning, we're going to have Venus opposing Saturn. Now, this could come through in our lives as power struggles between the more youthful, beauty oriented. And when I say beauty, I don't necessarily mean just looks. I just mean the act of making the world around us more beautiful, the act of beautifying our insides, the act of bringing gentleness, calm, soothing, lavender vibes, calming, loving vibes, and comfort and security and monetary wealth and luxury, little luxuries into our lives. Okay, Saturn opposing Venus, Saturn might put the blocks on and say, well, even though it's the weekend, you might have to save some money. Or even though it's Venus, even though it's your day, Venus, I might have to put the bumpers on to the bowling alley for you today because it just, you just might be wilding, Venus. Venus opposing Saturn, Venus in Libra. She's in her own home. She is pretty much in charge of this situation. So Saturn, even though Saturn's not as comfortable in Aries, so he might not be at his fullest strength, whereas Venus is home and she can do whatever she wants. She's as strong as she needs to be. She has access to all the tools and resources that she needs. She can reach into a drawer and find her darn tools. Now, Saturn, he might have a lot to say about how Venus wants to operate, but Saturn is not coming from a place of strength. So we'll have to see how this plays out if we are, you know, approaching an older institutionalized situation, a person, place, or thing, if we're approaching a partnership and looking for funding or looking to have access to a loan or to go through the steps of procuring something for ourselves in order to make lives better, not just for us, but in our partnerships. We'll just have to see what the paternal sort of father knows best energy of Saturn is going to say to Venus today while she's just trying to live her life and do her thing in her beautiful home. And now we enter into Saturn's Day, the 22nd of August, 2026. And today we have our infamous astrology aspect of the Sun conjuncting the South Node at 29 degrees of Leo, very close to the fixed star Regulus. And this has been on the forefront of a lot of astrological news cycles. If you pay attention to what astrologers have been talking about, the Sun conjunct the South Node could really highlight where we're collectively as a global culture, as a tribe, as a human being, but mostly as a group of humans together. What are we collectively flushing out, flushing down the toilet? What has already been excreted from us? What has already been released from us, but it just needs that final flush. That's what the Sun could possibly be highlighting today. Now, with the South Node in Leo, what are we getting rid of? We're getting rid of ego validation. We're getting rid of our, Gucci purse that's just not cool anymore. We are getting rid of celebrity obsession. We are getting rid of projecting our true nature and projecting our true fun onto public figures for them to be living the life and for us to watch them live the life. We're flushing that. We're flushing that. So there might be a release or there might be you know what I mean, just even in a most mundane sense, some television programs might be being cut. We might be cutting out that celebrity culture of what is it called when like you watch the way that celebrities live, like the Kardashian show or stuff like that. Like the ratings just could be just tanking on stuff like that right now. They might be getting cut. The reality television, that's what I'm trying to say, that might get cut. Reality television, just we might be going back to North Node and Aquarius. What is cool now? We might be going more towards programming television and movies that have to do with the future of Earth, the future of humanity, the future of farming, the future of space. We might be going back to more Star Wars themes. There might be an increased interest in like The Mandalorian again, or these are just examples of how this could play out in our day-to-day culture. Okay, as a collective. Um, for your personal astrology and how this South Node Sun conjunction could flush something from your life in the Leo, late degrees of Leo in your zodiac sign, why don't you book a personal reading and we'll talk about it? Later on in the evening, right around 9:18 p.m. Central Standard Time, the sun is going to enter the zodiac sign of Virgo. And so as the sun enters the zodiac sign of Virgo, the sun is also conjuncting with Regulus, that fixed star Regulus that is also at 0 degrees of Virgo. Sun entering Virgo is really going to highlight our needs to clean up what is toxic in our lives. We got to play around with that moon in Scorpio earlier this week. Now we have the Sagittarius moon, which is keeping our hopes up. Just has crossed over Black Moon Lilith, though, so we could have some real fears in looking towards the future. We could have some fears or some deeply embedded like mother wounds of not being cared for as we shoot towards the stars. So we could have a little bit of trepidation as we move into the zodiac sign of Virgo. Virgo is mutable earth, so we should be able to work with this mutable earth, work with this mutable fire, and to be able to clean what needs cleaning, but not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Virgo is the good nurse. Virgo is the one who cleans up after people, not because they're incapable, but because Virgo knows where to get in and how to fit in. Virgo knows how to be helpful without stepping on people's toes. Now, the shadow side of Virgo can become a little bit overcritical, a little bit OCD, a little bit over the top in terms of cleanliness is close to godliness type energy. But with the south node so close by there, I think that there's going to be this perfect tension between what we need to get rid of so that we can have space to allow the new, more purified aspects of the sunlight to come in and purify. Okay, the sunlight of Leo is now coming to a close, right? So now we have this Virgo sun, which is basically highlighting what needs to be purified in our lives. And to be quite frank, sometimes that flashlight, that shine can be a little bit bright. It can give us some spots in front of our eyes, and we might have to rub our eyes and blink a few times and be quite uncomfortable before we can see clearly the path between, what our hands need to do in order for our bodies and our minds and our spirits to feel correct. So thank you so much for tuning in today, for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me. If you stay tuned, I will talk very briefly about how you can book a personal session with me, Esperanza Vence Tarot, where hope wins. If you would like a personal session, you know what to do. Hit the links, esperanzavence.com. You can go to the contact page. It's so easy. I email you right back. You tell me when, and I click you a link that tells you where. So easy. I just ran like a super sale, $25 an hour, but like my time is worth $90 an hour, so that's what we're paying now. But there are readings as low as $33. Anybody can do that. So that'll give you a chance to just get a quick hits tarot for yourself, get a like kind of a feel for what the astrology could be doing for you personally from a whole sign house perspective. We don't even have to pull your chart. I can do it in my head. And those quick meetings, those 15-minute meetings are just like a nice break to the day that you just can sort of just give yourself a little fresher for your intuition to guide you throughout the rest of the day or week, whatever you're working with. I also have clients who are regulars, you know what I mean? There are people that book like monster sessions with me, like 4 or 5 hour sessions every month or so. And we look at, but those are usually like couples. But don't be shy to like bring your partner to a reading, because actually those readings work
freaking awesome for me. From my perspective, I just love seeing this all play out. I love seeing y'all's composite charts play out. It is just so obvious to me why you are the way you are when I get to see these things. So it's like, it's fun for me, it's fun for you, and it's also informative. So why not? Bring your girl, bring your guy, get a session with Esperanza Vence Tarot. And if you are a regular, you know, if you do come back month after month, like, my pricing structure is very fluid for loyal clients. You know what I mean? I try to stay reasonable, and I also try to honor myself and my time. And I'm very blessed to have clients that honor me and my time. So thanks so much, you know, for being fit and being legit. All right, stay tuned. See you on the next one, God willing.